with tonight's shave. We're going to start out with this Whip Dog Badger Silvertip brush, and I really enjoyed this one. Its brother I got last year, and put a lot of uses into it. Had a short handle, so I wanted to switch to a long handle, but Larry at Whip Dog mounts his brushes so tightly, securely with epoxy that it's really hard to get them out without just destroying things. So ordered a new one. So this is a knot that I've enjoyed in the past, just not the specific exact instance of one. So I'm going to squeeze the hairs, put it down into the cup. This is the way I prefer to wet my brush before a shave. It's not mandatory. You can just run your fingers through it under the faucet to get it wet. I like to soak mine for about 3 minutes. The blade that we're going to use today is a middle-aged dude. We'll see if he's about to buy a Ferrari and go out racing. 41 uses is what we're going to be putting today on this Nacet. So he is a middle-aged man. And we'll be using this Razor radio knob handle, and mounted to it is a Wolfman WR1 head with the Nacet inside. The soap today is one that I got early on in my wet shaving experience, and I just haven't got around to it. It smells great, and so in a sense I put it behind some others that were question marks because I could smell that this was great just from the tub. Dr. John's Black Label, and this is probably their version 1 base. It's not the current one because I looked at the ingredients list and they're different. I'll show you what this one is. So let's give it a shot. They did add some other stuff in to the mix to make it even better. Kind of soft, kind of medium. And here we have a 1/4 teaspoon amount. I often find that that's a great starter amount. Yeah, it's pretty soft. Easy to hook out. Just pressing it into the bottom of my bowl. Don't have to press it too much. This is kind of a funky. I was reading the description of it on the current smell online, and I assume it's not too different than this one. They wanted to do something a little different. They added some classic notes with maybe some neroli or bergamot, something like that. A little bit of floral stuff, and then I think a woody base, maybe some oak moss, something like that. And then they twisted it a little bit and with maybe a little bit of fruitiness to it. But it just smells really classy. To me, it definitely deserves the name Black Label, and to be put on with a classy type image. It just smells. That's a good blend. It really, really is. And before we start building the lather, I'm gonna rinse my face off. As usual, I'm using cool water, and my water is hard, so Dr. John's works for me. Then it's hard water tolerant in general. There's probably some guys out there who have water harder than my own, I'm sure. Shake all the water out just so I can start from a known benchmark, baseline. Yeah, benchmark. That's a combination between benchmark and baseline. Yeah, the fragrance is really coming out. Now it started to get kind of hard to turn and sticky and stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and add about half a teaspoon of water. It's a vegan soap. Very good performer. And without too much trouble, we have some nice creamy beginnings. So today we're trying out the Whip Dog brush. I'm kind of going back and forth, comparing it with my my Declaration Grooming B5. This has more the backbone level that I like, but the other Declaration has the tips that I like. This one's a little bit easier to whip up a lather in because it's just so easy to display. Oh man, did I knock some of the soap out? I'll add just a little bit more water back in. I think I started stirring too quickly and knocked out some of the water I added. Lather's looking great. Smells good. I like the woody note, whatever it is that has in it. Really nice looking makings of a lather. So now we've got 2 teaspoons in there. I don't think that's going to be enough. I'm just going to go ahead and add the next half teaspoon. Do a little stirring. Wonderful sheen, really smooth looking lather, creamy. Let's look at the elasticity is pretty good. Could be better, but all soaps are different. There we go. Look at that peak right there. Pretty cool. Very elastic. Let's do a finger check. I'm going to be just squeezing it. See what kind of resistance I get. Light. Then feeling for fingerprints. I'm not really feeling the ridges on my fingerprints very much. So let's shave with this. If I keep adding water, I'll start to gradually feel them more and more. And for this soap, maybe this is a good stopping point. Water on my face again. Before we continue, just wanted to show you, this is the 2-ounce jar of Dr. John's. That's what this guy is. Here's a normal size Sharpie, you know, just in comparison. So this is the smaller size, I believe $9 or something like that you can get for the 2 ounces on their website. I bought this as a part of a bulk purchase with a guy who had a bunch of different interesting stuff, and I'm really glad that I got it because I've tried so many things that I may not have otherwise. All right, so let us take it to the face. Creamy. This brush gives a very light face feel. This might need a little bit more water. Go ahead and add a little more. So every soap is different, you know, just because this felt one way in terms of the way my fingerprint ridges felt, didn't necessarily mean that it was, well, I was quite done with the whole add water thing. There we go. Much less blotchy. You may have been able to tell with the video resolution. Hopefully you were, and that would have been helpful. But when I made a swipe here in this area right now, it's pretty uniform in the grooving. I call them furrows, like a farmer and a tractor and a plow, that kind of thing. But they were very splotchy, whereas right now they're very consistent. And a lot of times when it's splotchy, that means it's a little too dry, relatively speaking. All right, so we're all tightened up, ready to go. Scent strength maybe 3 out of 10. Very pleasant. Definitely tell it's an accord involving some floral notes and then something kind of high. Oh man, this feels good. 24 hours is kind of what we're working on here. I've had other razors be smoother than this, and so I don't know whether it's the just the aggressive nature of the head versus the age of the blade. I mean, I don't know if this blade is going to carry me to the Century Club with 100 uses or whatever. And I debated when I first got this razor head in. I thought, you know, maybe I need to start with a brand new blade instead of this one that's like a month old, month of uses. I said, let's see how it handles an old blade. I'm gonna rinse. All right, left a little bit of water on my face. Added a little water to the tub. Kind of reintegrated the lather. So let's just see what happens. It's definitely got a high note in the scent that is coming across. That's maybe more of like a strength of 4 out of 10 coming across to me. Went back to the tub there, got a little bit more lather. There we go. Love the knurling on this handle. Even if soapy and wet, there's no problem with grip. With this razor head, I've discovered that if it's cutting me a little bit too much, maybe causing irritation or thinking about causing irritation, I can raise the handle a little farther, the handle end a little farther away from the skin, away from my face, and it turns it a little nicer, a little less aggressive. The sensitive area here that is often hard to cut, so let's just, I'm going pretty fast, but I am carrying a light touch. I'm going to rinse. Now you can tell this is a really good soap base, even if it's a few years old. You can tell that Dr. John knows his stuff, and you can tell why he's still in business, because this is a good base, good slickness. I have plenty of glide for my razor to do its thing, and then of course if he comes along with version 2, which I'm sure he did, then to make it even better, then that's just a bonus. Nice slickness I'm getting in terms of the feel when I'm rinsing the soap away. Very good. Third pass. Very smooth. Even though I'm not really feeling like I'm cutting too many hairs, I'm not trying to press down more. I might change my handle angle, but that's about it. And over here, I need to watch my pressure, holding the blade lightly. Stretching my skin a little bit, not too much. Very comfortable shave, no irritation. Check for closeness in just a second. I'm gonna rinse. It's so funny when old adages kind of come true. I just wasn't really worried about the shave. I just focused on being light, not really, if I didn't feel it cutting, I wasn't going to try to press harder, and in some cases I didn't even try to change the angle of the blade to cut better. and I ended up with a great cut in my little area right here, which is usually the one that gives me the problem. I've got my Adam's apple needs, I'm going to see if I can do it a little better. So let's do that. And then my neck hair kind of goes sideways. So if I do this, then it's really a cross grain pass. There we go. I'll rinse it off. So I ended up getting a very good shave here. Here's what's left. And that's, to me, that's kind of the perfect amount. That's a load, a pass, just in case I made a mistake or something, had to wipe a pass off or something like that. I've got enough. Just a nice smell, manly, in my opinion, and really happy to have it. I could see I've used some of his newer version of the soap base, and I can definitely see how this is not quite as good as the new one. So it's obvious that he found something better and switched to it. But very enjoyable even. And I like the scent. It's interesting. Maybe the pieces that he added into it made it kind of unique a little bit. I enjoy it. So I could definitely see putting buying maybe a larger puck, the 5 ounce version, 4 ounce version for the den, for my shave inventory. Because it's of the new base, so I could see that happening. Very enjoyable, classy, but not too ostentatious. I like it. And I have the and this is kind of new. Just got this recently from a fellow Redditor in the kind of July, Christmas in July gift exchange, and so I'm looking forward to throwing that on my face right now. I think it's ready. It does have alcohol, witch hazel, rose water, fragrance, glycerin, aloe, alum, and menthol. Hopefully it didn't have too much menthol. I don't care for that. All right. Let's see what we're talking about here. All that tobacco comes right out. A little bit of a smokiness, very little sting, and not too much menthol. So nice. Oh, that's so great. I hate it when a good scent is messed up by too much menthol in there. I know a lot of guys like the menthol, and that's okay. That's great. But me, I think it gets in the way. Maybe my skin's sensitive, but a lot of times it feels more like a burning than a cooling sensation. I can feel it a little bit right now. Hopefully it doesn't increase too much. Definitely smell the tobacco. That's funny. So that is a very different scent than what is in this soap tub, because of probably they changed the formulation. Of course, now listen, with these alcohol splashes, a lot of times there's a whole different scent right in the front. Then it's called something called the dry down, and then it kind of changes a little bit, and that's what you're left with for a little while. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh yeah, I can smell some of the other ingredients in there. Pretty neat. I'm going to clear away some stuff, and I'll be back. So I ended up using almost 3.5 teaspoons of water. Seems like about the right mix, at least on the part of this soap, with this base, because the 1/4 teaspoon of soap that I used, and it was a leveled off 1/4 teaspoon, gave me just that little extra that I showed you. That's about right. Pretty cool. And I think this amount of water will be a good place to start next time. It's possible it may need just a hair more to have the whole lather start off in the right place. So there we go. Very enjoyable scent. I'm still getting a light burning with the menthol. Tobacco is still a forward scent in this, so very nice. So yeah, the splash is definitely more on the tobacco side. I smell some more woody notes if I go and smell the soap. And so it's possible they changed the levels of the formulation with because I'm using an old soap and a new aftershave. So the Nacet just turned 41 uses today, just now, and doesn't have any signs of quit in it. I mean, I feel like I'm going to get to 50 and there'll be no change. Obviously, it's going to change at some point. Something that hit me was I'm getting better at using the Wolfman. A lot of times, the default razor angle that I usually use, it's not screwed in all the way because it's up there for drying. Let airflow come through there. But I'll demonstrate the usual angle I might use would cause a little bit too much irritation, and so I think I'm getting used to controlling it, lifting it up just a little bit, or maybe my face is just getting used to to it at the normal angle. I'm not actually sure. It's almost becoming automatic now, and so in a sense it doesn't matter which thing is happening. It's who knows, maybe this might be the gap that I keep. Initially I was like, it's maybe a little, I want to have less thought in my shaves with a Wolfman head like this. I've got other razors like the Dart, the Blackbird, the Charcoal Goods Level 2, that I really have to be careful with, and are on the aggressive side. Whereas with this guy, he's a fabulously machined piece, and I might want him to be a little bit less work, less of a surgical instrument, and more of just a daily driver that's super comfortable and enjoyable. But I'm going to give it a chance, like so many things in shaving. Give yourself a chance to get used to it and see what happens before you start trading up. Sometimes it's technique over tools. Sometimes that's the way it goes. So the cooling effect, the menthol has died down now with the aftershave. It's nice to know those other ingredients are in there, helping my skin out. I have oily skin anyway, so I don't really feel like it's they're needed quite as much, but it's nice to know that they're there. And that's another reason why I like the fact that it's an alcohol-based shave. Help cut down the oiliness of my skin. Face feels great, no irritation. That aftershave didn't stir up a lot. There's some sterling post-shave guys that kind of do stir up a little bit of the rash that might not have been there. Just maybe because it's the alcohol concentrate or whatever. But this is mainly, the note I'm getting here is the tobacco. So that'll be interesting to see how that changes, and see if it changes in the next 15 minutes or something like that. All right, well, there we go. I hope there was something here for you. Maybe if you had some old Dr. John's laying around and wondering how well it shaved. Well, it shaves great. It's a very good base. I'm sure the new ones, I know the new one's even better. But this is still a good base. And I happen to like the scent off of the puck and off of the lather of the Black Label a little bit better than the aftershave, this time at least. So there we go. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.